Hi, it's Christopher Watkin here from the Agents Together charity, the charity for estate agents, and I'm joined by Jem Hills, who is a motivational speaker and performance coach. Jem, an awful lot of estate agents are going to be or are currently being made redundant. How do people overcome adversity and develop resilience? Talk to me.
I think it's difficult, but sometimes if we don't fall, we can't achieve. We have to go down to actually build ourselves back up again. If I look back to my beginnings and where I came from, for quite a few years I was systematically bullied. I lost all my self-confidence, I lost all my self-worth, and it took me into a place where I was withdrawn and I could hardly communicate.
This is in your teenage years?
Yeah, it is, yeah, from sort of the ages of 7 to 13.
So how the hell did a bullied teenager turn into a Royal Marine and ultimately Special Forces? Because that needs...
I was in a really bad place, and I wouldn't even go to our local youth club, the disco. And it was at an age where I think you start to notice girls are developing and you want to be a part of that. And there was a disco at the local youth club. A couple of my friends had said, do you want to come to it? And I'd be, no, why would I go to my youth club? Because there's a good chance my bullies would be there. And I did everything to avoid being in a position where they would be, to the extent where I wouldn't go out. And they came up and said, Jem, look, we'll go in, and if they're in there, then we'll just go home, which I couldn't argue with, and I was like, okay. They weren't in there, and I had the intentions of going to the disco looking for girls. What I saw in that disco changed my life, because what I saw were these guys doing this amazing athletic dance to this amazing American soul music. I didn't have the confidence to do it, but I knew I wanted to get involved in it. So I went back, I managed to get hold of some of this music. The music happened to be something called Northern Soul. And
keep the faith.
Keep the faith, there we go, yeah. I mean, so I started to get a little bit more involved with that. And I practiced and I rehearsed and I watched these other guys doing it, and I started to go to smaller discos. But one thing, probably a couple of months after that, a friend of mine invited me to a proper Northern Soul event. And it was run in a little place that you'll know. It was a corn exchange at Bourne. We hitchhiked to the corn exchange at Bourne, and something happened in that event. I mean, when we arrived there, there's all these guys in the baggies, the girls with the skirts, the bags, guys with the chalk on the dance floor doing the spins, and I was like, wow, this is a proper Northern Soul event. But halfway through the evening, they announced a Northern Soul dance competition. And this little shy boy wasn't going to enter a Northern Soul dance competition, but everybody did. And it was a really good song. So I went, why not? So I got on the dance floor, and what I did notice was that all the people, well, a few people around me started to get a tap on the shoulder, and the space around me started to grow. And I started to get a little bit confident. And with Northern Soul, it's a free-for-all, and so in my mind, I'm starting to think I might be good at this. And I started to probably exaggerate the movements, and I started to get in my zone. And I started to believe, for the first time ever, that I might be good at something. And 2 minutes in, I got a tap on the shoulder and I was asked to sit down. Obviously, I wasn't good enough. But that changed my life, because I knew I wanted more of that feeling. I wanted that 2 minutes again. How did I get that 2 minutes? I found where other Northern Soul dance competitions were being carried out, and eventually I got in the top 20, got in the top 10. And you could probably imagine how I felt. At some stage, I actually won a couple of these dance competitions. So that was how I overcame my adversity, my bullying. I found something that became a passion. And potentially I'd achieved a goal. I didn't realise that winning a dance competition, had been a goal, because it just became my life. And so I then had the opportunity to develop a goal, and that goal was to join the Royal Marines. And I had to do quite a bit of training. One thing the dancing was doing for me, it was getting me fit, but I did have to do a lot of running and prepare myself for this goal of joining the Royal Marines, which I did. And I passed out as a Royal Marine. I had 4 years within the Royal Marines, and then I took the goal or that stage to the next level, and that next level is to join UK Special Forces. And fortunately at that stage, I acquired a coach. He wasn't actually a coach as I know it. He happened to be my troop sergeant in 4-5 Commando. But we'd seen these special boat service guys, these special forces guys, and you never saw them. They were always in the shadows. They were always in the dark. And so when we had an opportunity to work with these guys, I was like, wow. And I mentioned it to my troop sergeant. And he turned around to me and he said, you know that's pretty difficult to get in there. I said, yeah. He said, well, do you need some help? And we sat down and we put a program together of what training I needed to do to actually put myself forward to go and then volunteer for UK Special Forces. So that's pretty much how I then developed, from being bullied and overcoming that adversity to actually developing myself. And once you go through Special Forces training, you see other people fail, you pushing yourself. And I think when you mentioned resilience earlier, the Royal Marines are one of the few organisations that actually teach resilience, because you push yourself further than you've ever been pushed before. Fortunately, the instructors, they know how far they can push you. When you're being pushed, you think you're going to die. You build it. The first, your physical side of becoming a Royal Marine it's done in a gym. And as you develop, you move to outside, which is the assault course. And at Royal Marines Lympstone, the Commando Training Centre, they call it the bottom field, which is the assault course. And so as your body develops and you become fitter, then you move out there. And then one day the dreaded mud run comes up. And the mud run is a really good pushing yourself until you fall. And then you get back up again. And the instructors, they know how far to push you, and it's pushing yourself again and again. And I think that's life.
Would it be fair to say that it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get back up again?
It's how quickly you get back up again. And it's, what does resilience mean? It's about bouncing back. And I think we all, unfortunately, life will throw a curved ball at us. Doesn't matter who we are. Even the most successful people will get a curved ball at some stage, and they'll fall. Some people will fall forwards and deal with it. Other people struggle. But that makes us all different.
So it's not when you get punched in the face, it's when you get back up again. Is that it in a nutshell?
Pretty much. I mean, I didn't mention it before, but my first day at big school, secondary modern, as I was struggling, my academic career was going really badly wrong. And my mum struggled to put me into private education. Hadn't worked, failed the 11 plus, ended up at secondary modern. First day, new school uniform, apprehensive. I was a very nervous, withdrawn individual. Came to the first playground break. I got a tap on the shoulder, turned round, and as I turned round, all I could see was these punches coming in, and there was these two guys above me, and it was, you're not at effing public school now. And that was day one at secondary modern school. So it was only by then finding a passion to overcome where I was in a really bad place.
So really, because we need to keep it under the 10 minutes, is if you're up against adversity, find something you're passionate about that you can drive yourself forward for yourself to when your punches do come, you have a better place to go for and get back up. And
absolutely. Look for something different. Look for somewhere where you want to go.
Thank you for your time today, Jem.